Welcome to today's podcast episode. Today's episode is episode 23 of Life Flow Nexus podcast. When you stop needing everyone to understand you. I learned this the hard way, which is the only way I seem to learn anything, like a lab rat with Wi Fi. There's a weird kind of freedom that shows up when you stop explaining yourself, not because you don't care, but because you finally realize explaining yourself to everyone is basically a full time job with zero salary and terrible benefits. For a long time, I thought if I just explained things better, people would get it. Why I made a certain decision, why I left, why I stayed, why I needed space. I'd explain. Then I'd explain the explanation. Then I would recap the explanation like I was presenting quarterly earnings to a board of emotionally confused investors. And I'd still walk away thinking, man, I should have added slides. But here's the twist, nobody tells you. Sometimes people do understand you, they just don't agree. And that realization, that one hits like realizing you have been arguing with customer support and they are not even real person. I accidentally learned this at a random bar of highway. You know the type, sticky floor, jukebox that plays one song perfectly and the rest like it's underwater. A guy in the corner who may or may not live there. I'm sitting there explaining my life like I'm on a podcast nobody asked for, breaking down every angle, every reason, every what if. The bartender listens, nods, wipes a glass like he's been doing that since 1973. Then he goes, you don't need everyone to agree with a road they are not walking. Then he just leaves. No follow up, no TED talk. Just drops wisdom like it's a mic and goes back to polishing glasses like a monk of bad decision. That sentence stuck because that's exactly what we do. We ask people to approve roads they have never even seen on a map. We explain decision to people who don't have the context. We look for permission from people who only live with the consequences. It's like asking someone to rate a movie they didn't watch, but somehow their review still ruin your night. And the internet, oh, the internet turns this into a full circus. Now you don't just have one option, you got millions. Someone disagree with you, there's a comment. Someone thinks you're doing life wrong, there's a 12-minute video with dramatic music. You wake up confident and by lunch you're questioning your entire personality because again a truth seeker dash 47 said you're mid. At some point you start living like you're being watched, like your life needs to pass an invisible approval test. But here's the thing, a crowd is not a compass, it's just loud. I realized this again while eating alone at a restaurant, which, by the way, feels illegal the first few times. You sit down like, is this allowed? Do I need a permit? Should I pretend I'm waiting for someone? Meanwhile, nobody cares. No one not one person is looking at you. Everyone's busy dealing with their own life, their bills, their relationship, their weird texts they regret sending at 2 a.m. That's when it clicked. Most people aren't thinking about you, they're thinking about themselves, which is both humbling and incredibly freeing. We're all walking around inside our own little weather systems. Some people are shiny, some are thunderstorms, some are like that weird in between where you don't know if you need a jacket or a therapy. And we cross paths. We try to understand each other. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But nobody sees the full forecast of your life. So why are we trying to get universal approval from people who only see a 10-second clip? I used to think confidence meant knowing you were right. Now I think it's something quieter. It's being able to say this is right for me and not needing a plain panel discussion afterwards. No debate, no comment section, no let me know your thoughts below, just moving. I had a friend who changed careers way later than everyone expected. People questioned it, called it risky, irresponsible, they said. One guy basically acted like my friend had just announced he was becoming a pirate. He listened, then did it anyway. Years later, he told me the hardest part wasn't changing careers, it was accepting that some people would never understand why. This is the real cost sometimes, not failure, misunderstanding. And here's the part that string a little. Not everyone will get your story. Some people will only understand after they see the result. Some won't understand even then, and some just don't care. And that has to be okay because your life isn't a presentation. You don't need to defend every slide. Sometimes, this is what I need is a complete sentence. Now, don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean ignore everyone and become a mysterious lone wolf who only communicates through eye contact. Some people should have a voice in your life. The people who care, the people who tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Those voices matter, but not every voice deserves a seat at the table. Some opinions are like spam emails, aggressive, unhelpful, and somehow always there. So tonight, think about this. Is there something you have been over explaining, a decision, a boundary, a challenge? Are you waiting for someone to finally say, I understand? Because maybe they won't, and maybe you will still move forward anyway. You can love people who don't fully understand you. You can listen without surrendering your direction. You can walk your road without needing everyone to recognize the destination. That's freedom, not being understood by everyone, being at peace with yourself when you're not. As wrapping this up, the night outside is quiet. Cars pass every few minutes. People going somewhere. Everyone carrying something invisible. And nobody fully understands the person next to them, which is probably why kindness matters so much. We rarely know the full story. So, yeah, stop trying to turn your life into something everyone agrees with. It's not a group project, it's yours. Until next time, listen to people you trust, then listen to yourself. And if you two disagree, well, at least one of them actually has to live your life. And that's it for today's podcast. Hope you have a wonderful day.